West Virginia, take me home, country home. Thank you. Yo, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Hype Train. I am your host, Makai Vega, and this week's game, I proudly present to you the 76th installment of the Fallout series. What? This is... okay. That makes more sense. That is right, Bethesda is about to release another installment in the Fallout franchise, and it looks to be set in the fair country of West Virginia, and you will be traveling through the depths of Appalachia and the post-apocalyptic world 25 years after the fatal nuke went off. We gonna travel through the depths of Appalachia. That's where all the country bumpkins live, you know what I'm saying? Ding, 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 ding. I'm gonna come out here with my dog, my gun, and I'm gonna kick your candy ass. Woohoo! Make America great again, yeah, boy! But yes, the franchise game is now taking part in West Virginia, not too far from where I live here in Kentucky, which is an extremely different map from where it was in the previous games. But I need to make a confession. I've never played a Fallout game before. Shit! I know. Just put all your hate in the comments and throw it at my baddie. The good news is that you'll have a completely unbiased hype train today. But one thing I do have to say before I get into all this is that I've been looking through the comments of videos and articles that I've been reading about this game, and you all don't seem to like this game very much. You all see this stuff and you're like, this is trash, this is no better than the last one, pass, scoop, bye. I'm just like, geez guys, give it a freaking chance. But I can see that the hype with the Fallout audience is at an all-time low. But I'm no stranger to giving things the benefit of the doubt, so let's get into this week's hype train.
You will emerge.
So Bethesda, the award-winning creators behind Skyrim and Fallout 4, is making its prequel to the critically acclaimed Fallout 4 series, and its big emphasis for this game is online multiplayer. Fully on Bethesda for thinking that I have friends. But not necessarily really in the MMO style, but there will be other players on the server, say like in games like Destiny or Monster Hunter World, where it's not guaranteed that you're going to be interacting with one another, but you damn sure can. And the people who have had hands-on experience with this at IGN.com say that because the map is so large, it is 4 times bigger than the previous map on Fallout 4, and there are so few people on the server, it kind of makes it feel like a big, vast, empty abyss of a world where you're only encountering monsters instead of other humans. So Fallout as a franchise definitely isn't known for its multiplayer works, and they're really trying hard to implement it in this year's game. So you start out the game, you create your character like you do, choose from a variety of pedophile looking hairstyles. And speaking of the character creation, there's not really much new in terms of the creation suite that they have. The same amount of hairstyles, the same amount of details you can apply to the face. Nothing really new there. But the one thing different about character customization is that you can equip armor and everything like that, but you can also equip an aesthetic over top of that, so you can customize in whatever outfit you please and not have to sacrifice the abilities and speeds of whatever armor you carry. And as you leave Vault 76, you see where the 76 comes from, and you leave the vault to go find your lost overseer, and you go out into this world of West Virginia, which is seeing rough times.
He needs some milk!
So, you create your character, you go out and you do a variety of events that unfold the story and whatnot. If you choose to go with solo, the deepest effect the multiplayer will really have on you is that you can go out and you'll occasionally see someone and they might shoot you and they might try to take your loot or whatever and shoot you, but if you don't shoot back, it harms them more than it helps them to kill you, if that makes sense. So like if you don't shoot back, you're an unarmed, like an unwanting participant in their game. So like their shots do less damage, so you can try to escape because you ain't trying to fight nobody, you're just trying to live your life. As said by the website here, players that manage to murder non-combatants are marked as wanted, a status that enables all players to join in delivering full damage justice at any time for a bounty on the offender until the wanted status is cleared by death at the hands of a player. So it kind of makes killing other players kind of meh, but if you indeed try to shoot back, like a real man, it's an even head-on battle, both shots do the same amount of damage, and you're good. Whoever wins, right? That's the way the PvP works. So don't worry, you won't be getting randomly killed by random players like you do in other games, because it is highly discouraged by the consequences of their said actions. And if you really hate all that stuff, you can turn on pacifist mode and just continue about your business, and they won't be able to lend a hand on you because you have God on your side, which is the pacifist setting. But in the event that you actually have friends unlike me, you can squad up with up to 4 people, up to 3 people. I can't count. You can squad up with up to 3 people and take on the world of Fallout together, just like you would alone in the last games, but with people. And that comes with a variety of benefits, such as, you can get shot and killed and somebody can revive you. Or you can revive them, or you can just have extra help in a firefight. And with multiplayer also comes the introduction of new multiplayer events. But since I've never played a Fallout game, I'm just going to compare it to Destiny because I played the crap out of that. In Destiny, there were moments where you'd be traveling the world and there'd be like a giant circle that forms and it says incoming PvP event or something like that, or incoming PvE event, and you could just sit there and wait till it starts, and you and a group of players, whoever happened to be there, could just fight like a horde of monsters or something like that to get nice loot that you couldn't get anywhere else. And I'd have to think that it would be the same exact scenario in this Fallout game that it was in the Destiny game. You can do them solo, but it's very encouraged you do them as a group. It creates that nice sense of togetherness that you would really need in a post-apocalyptic version of this country. And there are other events that are specifically designed for player versus player, shoot 'em up style combat, but you have to opt in for these so you won't just randomly come across one. As of now, Bethesda has yet to confirm how many players will exactly be launched into the same server, but when the people from IGN were playing this before, it definitely seemed like there weren't enough people to really make it feel like a multiplayer Fallout game. The people would come sparingly, just if you happen to be in the same area as them, which likely you may not because there's no rhyme or reason for each person to be set in each server. So like you won't be like just in there with someone that's around your same level doing the same missions as you. Not as of now at least. But by the time the full game actually releases, you can probably hope for a few dozen at the most. It also uses proximity voice chat, which is a game feature that I personally think is super neat. Proximity voice chat means that you won't be able to talk to people unless their character in the game is somewhere in the same area as your character. So it's like if they were like 10 feet from you, your voice level would go down because it would sound like you were 10 feet from them. And if they were like right next to you, they would hear you a lot. But the further and further they get, the less and less they can hear you. And I think that is that's the next level SHIT right there. So, but I really love it when games use it. It just tickles my pickle. But moving on from the multiplayer, the world of Fallout is defined as your survival in this crazy post-apocalyptic world. It's about world exploring. It's about surviving in the unsurvivable. In the survival, Fallout will present the things it's always had, like you can go around, you have to keep yourself well fed, well rested, you have to prevent yourself from attracting diseases or radiation sickness from this nasty, gross world. Cook food, sleep in beds, clean your drinking water, all that good survival stuff. Oh, and the game has a photo mode, which I love in every game because I am a photo mode holic, as what they say. I took like 200 pictures in Horizon Zero Dawn, like 100 in Spider-Man, and a bunch more in Uncharted, which I love that games are now introducing this new photo mode to where you can just make it look as beautiful as possible. It honestly makes me a little giddy on the inside to see the photo modes because it's one thing that I definitely take advantage of. As far as the graphics of the game, it doesn't look too much different than it did from the previous games. I don't know if it was because I was looking at it on the internet or something like that, but the 4K doesn't quite add up, if you know what I'm saying. That was also another thing that I saw a lot of people complaining about in the comment section, is that the game doesn't really look any different from the last one as far as like graphics and gameplay is concerned. And I gotta take that into account when I'm considering my hype score at the end, you know. But something about this game that does sound a little intriguing is the ability to launch nukes. That's right, I said nukes, the big boom booms, not the little small one, but the big boom booms. They're gonna go to a big boom. But you can launch nukes in this game. That sounds very interesting. So at some point in the story, you will get the ability to launch a nuke. It won't be easy, like it will take some process and a lot of doing stuff, but you'll be able to launch a nuke on a big area, effectively changing that area from like a nice clean zone to a like radioactive wasteland. And that sounds like cray cray. Do people still say that word? Cray cray? Cray cray? For those of you who have never played a Fallout game before like me, there is a level progression system. Like you start off at level 1, then slowly build yourself up. And enemies have levels like depending on what area they're in. So if you go to one part of the map, enemies will be level 5. And if you're level 5, great. But if you go to one area and all the enemies are level 25, be prepared to get yourself mollywopped. It's going to be very clear which areas you're supposed to be in and which areas you're not, based on the levels of those enemies. And that's something that I can appreciate about a game. But it's one of those things that sort of restricts where you can go, and I kind of hate that about an open world where there are places you can't go because you can't go there without dying, basically. But speaking of the levels and whatnot, there is a new perk card system, which introduces a card presented to you after each time you level up. And the card alters your physical stats and abilities to sort of introduce to you a new style of play, to where one will like boost your strength and make you a hack and slash player, or another will like boost your speed and make you sort of like a dodge and weave sort of kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? But that seems like a nice feature of the game that'll keep things juicy and different in times where if you ever feel stagnant playing in one game mode, you can switch your cards and play another style of play that will probably rejuvenate yourself. But now, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for the hype rating. Fallout 76 on the scale of 1 to 10 gets a hype score of a 4. With this hype score, I'm taking into account not only my thoughts, but the thoughts of ye said internet. Now, it might just be sort of like the hateful part of the internet, you know, that is making all these opinions, but I don't think it is. It seems like a widely majority opinion that this Fallout game is kind of like a pass on their radar. Because at this point in Fallout stages, I think they're aiming for the die-hard Fallout fans. It seems like a game that has passed its course and needs sort of a new outlet. I mean, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play it at all. It's likely going to have its own set of fun, distinguishing, and immersive gameplay, but unless you are getting into this with all your friends and whatnot, it doesn't really seem like something you should really get too excited about. It gives you the same gameplay as before, not very much different. I like the whole idea of Fallout, building up the post-apocalyptic world. It's like building up settlements, surviving, fighting monsters and radiated creatures that are all trying to kill you and surviving. That all sounds like a fantastic game, but when I look at this, none of it really makes me too excited. And that's also kind of crazy because I have a roommate that is die hard about this series. So he's like, bro, you gotta get Fallout 76 so you can squad up with me and get in the Fallout world of the post-apocalyptic outworld. And I'm just like, maybe next time. Weirdo. And this game might just be a big fat pass for me. And it seems like a lot of people are sort of thinking the same thing, so this might spell the end of the Fallout series. And as far as the game itself, like compared to like the other things that I've played this year, it doesn't look so fantastic and out of this world that I would push myself to try to play it. But honestly, look at it. The multiplayer looks like I'm honestly playing Halo 2. I'm just saying. The world of gaming now being a multiplayer world, I can go get my fix for the multiplayer story pretty much anywhere by now. With all that being said, do you agree with my hype score? Do you not agree with my hype score? Let me know down in the comment section below. Fallout 76 releases on November 14th with a beta, aka a break it early test application. There will be a beta released on October 23rd, but sadly that beta is only for people who have already pre-ordered the game. But if you want to see what this game is really about before pitching in the $60, you might want to play some Fallout 4 or some New Vegas before you get into it. I would like to take this moment to thank you very much for watching this episode of The Hype Train. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you board the Hype Train today as we continue to discover all of the hype. Next week's game Until next time, Hype Train, baby. Woo woo!
I had the feeling that you wasn't feeling me, baby girl, I wonder why, yeah. You could've just told me from the beginning, you didn't have to waste my time, yeah. Steady just telling you lies, I'm spending all of my time getting high. I'ma keep moving until I find someone who's real and who's gonna be my ride or die, yeah. Here we go again, thought I had a friend, but I can't pretend that I didn't see it coming to an end. Message sent.